Trey. Hey. Trey. Running Back Nation. What is good? It is I, DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys. Never, ever, ever in my life have I ever even considered thinking about having an intro. That was not an intro. That was just another figment of your imagination. Pat Culp, how's the ankle feeling? It hurts. Hurts a lot. It doesn't hurt when I'm not moving, but it hurts when I move. But I got it wrapped up. I'm trying to keep it elevated. You know what it is, man. It's big, it's swollen, it's black and blue. It's terrible. It went completely sideways, and I heard two pops. And you know what that means. The ligaments in that jaw went bing, bing, see you later. And the ankle's like, that's not supposed to happen. And now it's this big. But we will get back. I should know at the point that I'm at right now, I shouldn't be in the paint going for rebounds. I should be out at the three-point line, shooting the ball, passing the ball. Shooting the ball, passing the ball. That's what I should be doing. So I learned my lesson there. And I should be wearing ankle braces if I want to play ball. I mean, what's going on here? What am I doing here? Shout out to the donators of the channel. Martin Santiago, as always. New member, El Boogie. Most recent super chat, Sergio Caraballo. I don't know if I said that right. Thank you for supporting the channel. 104 people in here. Everybody hit the like button. I was going to say Bob's on the chair. Bob was on the chair. Bob's not on the chair anymore. So, Bob's not on the chair. But hit the like button for Bob. He was on the chair a second ago. Maybe he heard the music and all that stuff and he got scared and ran away. So, yeah, hit the like button for Bob. Shout out to everybody in here. Last night was fun. We were in the playback stream, playback.tv/runitbackphilly. We're up there almost every night watching an NBA game. We were watching the Hawks Celtics, and Trey Young did us a favor, ladies and gentlemen. We need as much rest for Joel Embiid as possible. And Trey Young delivered us another 2 days of Joel Embiid resting the LCL sprain. Now, I know there's a lot of negativity going around the Sixers fan base saying they're done with Joel Embiid, that he's hurt every year, whatever. I want to remind you, DJ Eastwood coming in with the positivity. What? Who would have thought? I want to remind you, 2 years ago against the Atlanta Hawks, Joel Embiid had a partially torn meniscus. He had a knee brace on. He was not 100%, but he averaged 30 points per game in that series. So while, yes, it does suck that we don't get Joel at absolutely 100% once again in the playoffs, here we go again. He is still very, very, very good with a knee brace on at 90%. I don't know. Or maybe he's totally fine. He had a slight hyperextension. They held him out for precautionary reasons, and they said, why would we tell everyone that he's fine? Why would we tell everyone that he's 100%? Why would we tell the Boston Celtics, Joel Embiid's 100%, you are going to be playing against Joel Embiid, so prepare for Joel Embiid? Why would they do that? So there's number one reason that he might be 100% totally fine, and it might just be the Sixers choosing to not release that information, playing a little bit of mind games. Doc Rivers said the MRI wasn't good. If there was anything in the MRI that told them he was done for, they would have announced that. They would have said, the MRI showed Joel Embiid has a torn meniscus. He's out for the season. Kawhi Leonard, out for the season. Again, I'm going to give my opinions on that a little bit later, but my point is, Kawhi Leonard averages 35 points the first two playoff games. He's injured, knee swelling, MRI, torn meniscus. He's done. They looked at Joel Embiid's MRI. They didn't say anything. All Doc Rivers said is, this what we look when every time you have to look at an MRI, it's not good. And this one wasn't good. The more I hear that, the more I know that just sounds like a lie. You know what I mean? That just sounds like a lie. If it wasn't good, they would have announced what the injury is that made the MRI not good. So I want to make you feel better by letting you know that. And then yesterday, Doc Rivers said he's about a 50% chance, or 2 days ago, he said it's about a 50% chance that he plays. And yesterday, Doc said Joel hasn't been able to do anything yet. And I get, like, when I first read that, I was like, great, the dude hasn't even been able to walk. So we're screwed. But he said he hasn't been able to do anything yet. He was just at practice going over film. And then somebody hit me in a reply and said, why would you want him to be doing anything? And I was like, you're right. You're right. I don't think they tried to get him to do anything yet. I think they just said, sit. You sit down, don't move. Ice. Sit down, don't move. You might have to play Saturday. But last night, Trey Young did us all a favor. The Boston Celtics were up by 10 points with about 5 minutes left in the game. I said if they don't cut this in half with about 3 minutes left, this game's over. And Trey Young, the one who I like to talk trash about, of course. Everybody who's not a Hawks fan likes to talk trash about him. He's easy to hate. He's easy to dislike as a basketball player. The crying to officials, the flopping, the baiting fouls, the everything. The chucking 40-foot three-pointers and shooting like 35% from there or less than that. He did us a favor last night. Trey Young took over the end of the game. Hit a deep one from the top of the key. Makes it, I don't remember what the score was. Comes back down. Hits another one from the right side, just right around the screen. No hesitation. Feeling himself. Bang. Money. And here's what happened at the end. This is the This was my call on Playback TV. If you're not on Playback, playback.tv/runitbackphilly. What are you really doing? Derek White was at the free throw line on a foul by Trae Young, which, by the way, first of all, the Celtics deserve to lose this game because Marcus Smart tried to win the game on a flop. I'm going to play that clip, too, if you haven't seen it. That just pissed me off. And then Trae Young tries to take a charge on Derek White. And I'm getting annoyed here. I'm like, there's 7 seconds left in an elimination playoff game, and we got guys over here trying to end the damn game on a flop. That's like a NASCAR race ending under caution. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see a game end on free throws. Nobody wants to see that. So I was like, you know what, Trey, you deserve to lose this game for trying to take a charge there. But Derek White hits both free throws, and I said he's going to make both. They're going to go up 1. There's 7 seconds left. Trae Young's going to hit a 40-footer to win the game. And here's what happened. Let me put this in the middle real quick. Not what I wanted to do. Edit, undo. Stretch to screen. I didn't even know you could do that. Fit to screen. Here we go. He's going to make it, and Trey's going to hit a 40-footer at the buzzer. I predicted it. Right there, you heard it. Some guy on Instagram said that was recorded. You're faking. I'm like, bro, we were live on Playback TV. What are you talking about? He's going to make it, and Trey's going to hit a 40-footer at the buzzer. Oh, here we go. 7 seconds. Bay's inbound to the ball. Trey's got it in the backcourt. He's going to go for the game winner. He's going to pull up. He pulls up from 35 feet, and he hit it! Oh, I called it on the fucking money! Oh, my God, let's go! Let's go! Yeah. Let's go! I said he's going to make the free throw. Trae Young's going to... Yeah, shout out to Trae Young for hooking us up with another extra couple games of rest, man. Shout out to Trae Young for that. Joel Embiid then tweeted. Joel Embiid, while sitting and resting the knee, tweets, "This is some good hoops. Hashtag Ice Trae." So even Joel Embiid with a little bit of thanks to Trae Young right there for hitting that big-time shot, for putting the Boston Celtics away. Oh, how good are the Boston Celtics? Because they just lost to the Atlanta Hawks in Boston without DeJounte Murray, who got suspended for pushing a referee, although Jason Tatum pushed a referee. No suspension. How good are the Boston Celtics? Because I was fearful of this team the whole season. I was this team is the juggernaut. This team was in the NBA Finals last year, added a bunch of pieces. You know, Malcolm Brogdon off the bench, and Derek White's been playing great off the bench, and Blake Griffin hit 8 3-pointers against us in the regular season, and I thought that was a for sure easy sweep of the Atlanta Hawks. And they've now lost 2 games to the Atlanta Hawks. So how good are the Boston Celtics? Should we not even fear the Boston Celtics anymore? I know we were all saying, most of us, I know some of you were right, some of you were saying, why are you so scared of the Boston Celtics? Shout out to Bubba45. I've been saying the Celtics aren't that good. But after losing a second game to Atlanta, how do you feel about the Boston Celtics right now? Do you feel like a Boston Celtics 76ers series with Joel Embiid's health in question is still winnable? Yes or no? Yes or no? With Joel Embiid's health in question, is a Sixers-Celtics series still winnable? Lord Gucci, Celtics fraud behavior. Nick Marchetti, we're beating the Celtics in 6 if we're healthy. Refs are Celtics fans. I agree with that. Tatum shot 111 from 3. Yikes. Boston feels vulnerable right now. At the end of the day, Atlanta is better than Brooklyn. Well, that's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. Young Reezy, I'm at the movie watching Mario, but I said, F this, let me see what Eastwood... Shout out to you, man. Mario movie's pretty predictable anyway. We win in 5. We take them in 7 as long as Joel plays. I've been saying this whole season I'd rather test my luck against Tatum than Giannis when healthy. Well, Giannis is losing to Jimmy Butler out here. Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero's got a broken hand. The Bucks are losing to Duncan Robinson. Who would have thought? I've been saying we can beat Boston as long as Embiid's healthy. Boston is only good when they're hitting threes. We're pretty bad when we're not hitting threes also. Celtics playing with their meat. A Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid / Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris / Jimmy Butler versus Sixers Eastern Conference would be insane. Would be absolutely bonkers. From the whole Jimmy Butler story of in Philly, why he left Philly, what happened after he left, who they signed, him saying Tobias Harris over me. We don't know the real story. One person saying Jimmy didn't want to sign here. Jimmy's saying they chose Tobias over me. Jimmy Butler, Miami Heat, against Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals. That would break the internet. That would break the internet, and the media is drooling over that thought. Absolutely, I agree with that. Let's look at why the Celtics lost, okay? Check it out. Here's why the Celtics lost, because Marcus Smart tried to flop his way to victory. Look, right here. These are some of the things that I hate right here, bro. There's a dive. He gets called for a foul right here. It is a 1-point game. There's 12 seconds left. Marcus Smart sets a screen. Grabs DeAndre Hunter's arm. Throws himself on the floor. Now, as a basketball player, as a basketball fan, he wanted that call. He wanted this referee right here to make that call to put him at the free throw line with 11 seconds left to win an elimination NBA playoff game. Is this guy serious? That blows my mind, bro. Play the damn game. Play the damn game. And I've been saying, and I'm going to keep saying it, the NBA needs to be going through games from start to finish, finding plays like this, and sending these players fines. Get this junk out of the game. I just wanted to rant about Marcus Smart for a second. That shit pissed me off. Now, let's look at the stats real quick. John Collins had 22 points on 9 for 18, 4 for 9 from 3. I remember I've been saying, hey, look, if the Hawks ever want to throw him out there for Tobias Harris, you get a better, more athletic rebounding stretch four. And 1 year, people are telling me John Collins can't shoot. 1 year, people are telling me he can shoot. He was slumping this year, but look in the playoffs. He was 4 for 9 from 3. I like me some John Collins. The Atlanta Hawks have some players that have been stepping up, man. DeAndre Hunter, obviously Trae Young drops 38 and 13 assists. If they end up winning this series, that would be nuts. That would be nuts. Okongwu, 9 points off the bench. Sadiq Bey, 12 points off the bench. He didn't have rebounds in this game. Okay, that doesn't mean he doesn't rebound. Come on, bro. Stop. Come on, bro. Anyway, so the Hawks steal one. Look at the Celtics stats here. Jason Tatum, 8 for 21. 1 for 10 from 3. And some people have been telling me this or have been bringing this up throughout the season that Jason Tatum once in a while has these games. And if you get Philly versus Boston, if say they close it out next game, whatever, Tatum doesn't shoot 1 for 10 from 3. I mean, if he makes 2 of those, the Celtics win the game. if you get Celtics versus Philly and you get 2 of these shooting games from Jason Tatum in a 7-game series, the Sixers are winning the series. If Jason Tatum shoots like this more than once in a 7-game series against the Philadelphia 76ers, the Sixers are winning the series. That's how I feel about that. Al Horford, 1 for 5, 1 for 3 from 3. He had a big attempt in the corner down at the end of the fourth quarter. Couldn't hit it. Derek White, 18. Jaylen Brown, 35, 15 for 23, 4 for 7 from 3. Damn! Jaylen Brown has no help. And the Celtics bench Brogdon, Robert Williams, Sam Hauser. But other than that, they struggled in certain areas, and they struggled to stop Trey Young from ending this game. 265 in here. Shout out to everybody. Give me 265 likes on the stream. We got a special guest coming in hot right at 12:30. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but we got a special guest right at 12:30. Stay tuned. So with this game being won by the Atlanta Hawks, that delivers this Philadelphia 76ers 2 more days of rest. Not just Joel Embiid's knee, James Harden's Achilles.
I think it's good.
What's up, Romp?
Hello.
Yo.
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's live. I didn't put you on the screen yet, but I can hear you.
Shoot.
It's all good.
Shoot.
I forgot to mute your mic. But it works though.
Joining?
Yeah. It's on auto add, and I didn't realize that. Well, it's not on auto add, but it added your audio anyway. But yeah, I'll just put you on the screen, bro. Let's go. How did I do this? Okay, here we go. Get this out of here. Add to scene. It's Romp in the building, everybody. Yeah. So can everybody hear? Can everybody hear Romp audio? Give me a check 1 2, Romp.
Check 1 2. I just woke up, but I'm here to talk hoops. Oh, that kind of rhymed.
Nice.
Shit.
All right, cool. We can hear you. So the thing that I was trying to use the other day to do call-ins, I figured out what I was doing wrong, and it worked this time. So shout out to Romp. Thanks for being here. So you were watching the game last night. You were watching the Hawks-Celtics game last night.
Yes, that was insane, man.
Do you think the Hawks can actually win the series?
I don't think they can win the series, but I think they could force a Game 7 because now the pressure's on the Celtics, and I feel like the Celtics role players have been playing out of their mind. So I suspect John Collins, who's been struggling to have a good game like he did yesterday because they're going home to Atlanta. So I think the Hawks role players, there's really no pressure on Atlanta and all the pressure's on the Celtics. So it's going to be a very tough game for the Celtics to win. But at home, Game 7, if they force a Game 7, I think the Celtics will ultimately pull it off. But, I mean, the Celtics look beatable to me. I'm not going to lie. I thought they were bulletproof, but I think they miss Udoka a lot.
I just got an echo. Say something again.
Yo.
Did everybody hear an echo? I didn't have an echo at first. Now I do. Check 1 2. Can you guys still hear Romp? No, they can't. But we can hear you. I think they can hear you right here. Now going to be a check 1 2.
Check 1 2.
How about that? Can you hear Romp right there? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. I realized.
Did they hear me talk about the game? Or
yeah. And then it just started to echo at the end because I had two faders open. Never mind. There's a lot going on here. I overcomplicate everything because I hate StreamYard.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah. So yeah, if they force a Game 7, that'd be awesome. And yeah, I think I still take the Celtics because I don't think Jason Tatum's going to shoot 1 for 11 from 3 in a Game 7. But, obviously we hope they force a game 7. That would be awesome. Do you think this, like, I don't know. Like, do you think the Sixers then, is Atlanta better than we thought they were? Because I'm saying, do the Sixers then struggle with Atlanta, like the way that Boston's struggling with Atlanta?
Um, I think Atlanta's just really good because Trey Young can get the shooter shots, and they have a bunch of nice shooters like DeAndre Hunter, Bogdanovich. I think their defense is pretty mediocre, so the Sixers should be able to score. Just can they stop them? And the Celtics can't stop them. But the thing is, Atlanta can't get stops on the Celtics. Like, it seemed hopeless for Atlanta yesterday. They just kept scoring it and scoring at will against Atlanta. But the with Trae Young, he can get in the paint and create easy shots and opportunities. And if their shooters are hitting, I mean, they could put up 115 like that.
Yeah, I think the Sixers have struggled with the like on ball or ball screen defense the whole
Mhm.
season, or the last 5 seasons maybe. So yeah, Trey Young's always a struggle. You know what I mean, with just coming around the screen, especially when he starts to hit threes like last night. When he gets on, then you're like, all right, now he goes from a 30% 3-point shooter to like, is he gonna miss? So then you really have to come out, and then when you come out on the screen, then he can get in the lane and throw the lobs and stuff. So he's definitely a threat when he's hitting a shot. But yeah, forcing a game 7 would be awesome. How do you feel about Miami, Milwaukee?
I think Miami's going to pull it off. I think the Bucks were the most overrated team coming into the playoffs because a lot of people forget Chris Middleton was carrying a huge load offensively, especially in clutch time. Like, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, Giannis, although they're really good, they also need perimeter players that can take over in key games. You saw last week when Joel was kind of hobbled, Tyrese Maxey took over. I believe Jamal Murray's been the Nuggets' best player, and that's no knock on Jokic. They big men just need perimeter players to step up in crucial times because they get the ball right away. They don't need someone to get the ball in their spots. And Chris Middleton, he'll probably have a good game tonight and they'll win. But in terms of being consistent on a night in and night out basis, you can't trust him. And I wouldn't say his offense has dropped off that much, but his defense is terrible. Like, whenever Jimmy Butler had him on a switch, he completely destroyed him. And the Bucks used to be able to rely on Chris Middleton for defense. And I don't know if you remember, but James Harden looked like Houston James Harden when we played the Bucks. He put up like 31, and we just kept isolating Chris Middleton, and Harden was looking like he had his quickness back. So I just think their depth has been overrated because Chris Middleton has taken a step back, and Brook Lopez has been like their second best player all season. And besides the last game, he's had a mediocre series. And Giannis just has too much to handle. Like, Giannis is great, but he also needs Chris Middleton to be a guy you can give the ball to and go get a bucket. But this season, he's just been so inconsistent.
Yeah, I think Giannis relies on other players when teams are building the Ben Simmons wall against him and forcing him to shoot jump shots, and
Mm.
then yeah, if somebody like Brook Lopez, who against the Sixers I feel like shoots the highest percentage of his career, every time I watch him against anyone else, I'm like, oh my god, he would have made that. He would have made that against
Yeah.
us. He would have made that. But yeah, you think that Miami's going to close? I don't know if I can see Miami. I think I can see Milwaukee coming back because I think Miami needs Jimmy Butler to drop 56 points, to win these games. I've thought that Miami wasn't very much of a threat this whole season, really. I think Kyle Lowry's still just like, what happened to Kyle Lowry? And I just don't see Jimmy Butler continuing those kind of performances. But he did that. He
Mhm.
did that in the bubble. That's how he drug them to the NBA Finals in the bubble. So, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But I'd see maybe the Bucks coming back and it going to 7, and then you got a battle there. How crazy would a Jimmy Butler versus Sixers Eastern Conference Finals be?
Whew, that'd be scary because we all know he would light us up because he hates us for some reason.
Because for
He would
some
average
reason,
like 40.
yeah, Butler would, yeah. he's that kind of guy that I don't want to say needs extra motivation, but when he has extra motivation, it's like, damn it, like calm down. Like there's nothing you can do with him when he has that extra motivation.
Yeah, but I'm gonna pick the Knicks no matter what. I think the Knicks would beat the Bucks, and I think they would beat the Heat. I'm a big Knicks fan.
Ooh, the Knicks.
And I made a video on my main channel. I said they were gonna expose the Cleveland Cavaliers because the Cleveland Cavaliers have no shooting. And Jalen Brunson, there's no one to guard Jalen Brunson on the Cavs besides Isaac Okoro, and he's doing the Matisse Thybulle thing where you can't keep him on the court because they're not guarding him. And I just think the Knicks have a good team. Like in terms of depth, their depth is crazy. They can run all bench lineups and be fine. Like if Julius Randle played terrible last game, it didn't matter. RJ Barrett had a nice game, 26 points. RJ Barrett sucked the first 2 games, but the last two games in New York, he's played well. And Josh Harden, Jalen Brunson, I mean, those 2 are winners from Villanova. I don't know why the Sixers didn't draft them, but that's another topic for another day.
Yeah, the Knicks have been building like a deep team because they keep drafting these guys at like the top of the draft, and like nobody really breaks out as a superstar, but all of those guys together are a lot of, really good role players. And then you add all they've really needed is like a leader and an organizer like Jalen Brunson to give them some kind of identity. And like, this is what they are now. They run the offense through Jalen Brunson. And then, you got Julius Randle and RJ Barrett and everybody. And they are deep. And Josh Hart is such an important player, man. He's such a good player. He's just one of those guys. 4 years in college. He was NBA ready coming out. You knew what he was going to do. 2-way player, can dribble, pass, and shoot. Is just a basketball player, like in all different levels of the game. And man, I love that dude. Where was he at in the draft? Did we pass on him, or did we took someone ahead of him? Or, I mean, I remember him being there, and I remember, like, damn, we should take Josh Hart. But he's one of those guys that like flies under the radar. Nobody really talks about a guy like that, but he's that glue guy. He's that nitty gritty that every team, kind of needs. He's the Sixers PJ Tucker, maybe. He's the Sixers. I don't know who to compare him to, but he's that nitty gritty guy that every team takes a step forward when they add him to the roster. So if Miami closes this out, they would play. Well, the Knicks Cavs, that's not over, right? That's 3-1.
Yeah, it's not over. I probably just jinxed the Knicks. They're gonna blow a 3-1 lead.
Bro, every time I'm watching a game and my girlfriend's hanging out with me and the Knicks are on, I'm like, watch how they lose. Like, I've called it so many times throughout the season. They just fought. They've been a lot better recently, but they have just found ways to lose games the craziest ways. That would be wild if they would find a way to lose this series. But yeah, you would take if Miami beats Brooklyn and then Miami beats Milwaukee, then you would take the Knicks to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. That would be wild.
I'm taking them over the Bucks too, bro. I'm looking at Brook Lopez and drop coverage. I think Brunson's gonna cook. I just trust Brunson way more than a lot of people do. Like, that's why I ultimately picked them against the Cavs, because I thought he had a chance to be the best player in the series, just because I saw the Cavs offense. Like, most of the year, the Cavs offense has been Donovan Mitchell and pretty much nothing else. And Donovan Mitchell's going to have to make crazy shots consistently because the paint is so packed, because they have no shooters. It's like the Sixers a couple of years ago. Like, they got no shooters consistently.
Oh, the Sixers a couple of years ago, man. Like, how bad was that spacing, dude? And this is why my channel blew up when that team was on TV, because I was so pissed off every day. Because I just couldn't believe what I was watching on the TV screen. And I couldn't figure out, and I figured it out, by the way, but I couldn't figure out, how did people who know the game of basketball, how did they put this team together? How did they put Al Horford, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid on the floor together? The only floor spacer on the team was Josh Richardson. How did they? But it wasn't them. It was the owners and their friends, like telling Brett Brown and Elton Brand what to do. That's legitimately what I've landed on, because there's no other explanation for it. But I don't know how we got on that, but I was about to, rant about the Sixers and the 2019 team.
My question is, how did we not sell high on Ben Simmons?
Dude, like, I just said yesterday, if they would have just sat down with Joel and Jimmy Butler And somebody in that organization would have had a basketball mind and said, you have 2 stars. Ask them what they want straight up and give them whatever they want and do whatever they want and keep those 2 guys together and build around those 2 guys. Yeah, all you had to do was trade Ben right there, right then and there. Legitimately. In his 3rd year, whatever it was, he still has this much potential. He could still be this. You could sell it as a bad fit with Joel Embiid. You could sell it. All you had to do was make that trade. Keep Jimmy. And the world is different. But, it didn't happen. It is what it is. And now we're going to potentially watch Jimmy Butler rip our hearts out in the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if that would happen, that would just be, woo, that would be crazy. All right, let's get down to business. How do you feel about the 76ers versus we're going to say the Celtics win this one in 7. How do you feel about the Sixers-Celtics series right now while not knowing Joel Embiid's health status right now?
I feel not too good because I think the Celtics just have a lot of depth, and I'm not really scared about Tatum. I'm more scared about Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, those 3 guys, because they're really good, and Sixers defense at time can be suspect. I think it really depends what Tyrese Maxey you're going to get, because in the regular season he really struggled against the Boston Celtics. And I always tweet at him randomly. I'm like, they're saying you can't play against the Celtics, Tyrese Maxey, trying to motivate him, even though he probably never saw it. But if you get a good Tyrese Maxey, I mean, I'm sure he's going to have stinkers because everyone does. For a couple games where he scores like 30 points, 25 points, that would be really crucial. And I think Tobias Harris, we got to trust him more because James Harden looks pretty suspect. So hopefully Tobias Harris can carry what he did in the first round to the second round, because he has yet to do that in his NBA career. He always does well in the first round, and then he kind of, disappears. But I don't know, Tobias, I kind of trust him more than I've ever trusted him, but he could also disappear. But I will say the Celtics are not the same team as last year. In the beginning of the year, I thought they were the clear favorites to win the championship, and you could argue they still are, but their offense at times is just so stupid. They shoot threes like they are the Warriors, but they're not the Warriors, so it just keeps other teams in the game. Like they have free driving lanes against the Hawks. They could get to the line whenever they want against the Hawks, and they're shooting like they're Steph Curry, keeping them in the game. Plus, their defense yesterday was embarrassing. Horrible. Their defense was the reason they got to the finals last year. They were like a top 3 defense, and over the year, their defense has been super inconsistent. So I think Udoka, they miss Udoka a lot because he would call out Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and he would make sure they're doing the right things defensively. And that defense yesterday, oh my God, I don't know what they were doing. The Hawks were getting whatever they wanted. The sad thing was the Hawks couldn't get a stop, but eventually they got stops, and you saw what happened. So I think this is a different Celtics team. I'm not saying the Sixers are better, but they're definitely not as scary as I thought they were in the beginning of the season when they were like the best team in the league by far.
Yeah, people forget about the whole Udoka situation and how much, his coaching went into what they were doing. I just read like a top coaches in the Eastern Conference or top playoff coaches remaining or something like that, and he was Mazzulla was number 3. And I was like, what the did he do to get to number 3? He stepped into a team that was built and had a whole system. I mean, and this is what I say a lot about NBA coaches. I don't know if they can really impact the game very positively, but they can impact the game very negatively. Like, I think a team and a system, I'm not saying Udoka didn't build the system that they were running and things like that. I think he did. But I just think a bad coach is much worse for a team than a good coach is great for a team. And Mazzulla might not be a good coach at all. He might have just stepped in there and he'd been riding the wave, and now it's like, here's what's really going down. And you're kind of seeing it. Do you even think Udoka would have had this Celtics team struggling against the Atlanta Hawks right now? I would say probably not. My thing with Tobias Harris, James Harden definitely looks suspect. And the Harden fans that are not Sixers fans, they follow James Harden to the city of Philadelphia. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to people watching my channel and are like, "Why are you always on James Harden?" And I'm like, I start to realize they're James Harden fans. They're not. But either way, if James Harden continues to look the way that he looks, at least he still has speed and like speed off the dribble. It's the elevation and the finishing at the rim, and it just looks really bad. And that tells me that he does still have an Achilles issue. But yeah, you would need Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris to step up if that's the situation. People are telling me that I need to apologize to Tobias Harris, and again, short-term memory. I tell them they're like Dory on Finding Nemo. They got short-term memory loss. They need to. My camera just turned off. They need to remember what he does, what he's done. He's always done this in the first round. And when the second round comes around, he's Houdini Harris and he disappears. I'm not sending Tobias Harris an apology letter until I see him do it in the second round. If he does what he did in the first round against the Brooklyn Nets, against the Boston Celtics in the second round, I will handwrite a Tobias Harris apology letter. And I will get on my knees and beg him to unblock me on Instagram. That's what will happen if he does it in the second round against the Boston Celtics.
I don't see why he couldn't. It's not like they're gonna put their best defender on Tobias. They're gonna put one of the worst defenders, and maybe it's a pressure thing. But the thing is, the pressure is not on the Sixers. I mean, obviously the second round exit thing is kind of pressure, but no one's gonna be picking the Sixers. Not a lot of people. It's gonna be consistently the Celtics. So I think just having the pressure off the Sixers, I think it's going to help them because they're a way better team than they've been in the past. Like, I mean, the Sixers do not win that game without Joel Embiid last year. That's just facts. And the Sixers do not sweep a team, even though the Brooklyn Nets were not even a playoff team without KD and the new Brooklyn Nets. I mean, they got the job done. And you look around the league in the first round, no one got a sweep. Denver and Phoenix finished their teams in 5, but the Sixers were the only team to sweep. And I feel like that just shows they're a different type of ball club. I'm not saying that's going to make them get over the hump finally, but it definitely gives me more confidence because in the past, we would play 5-game series against the Russell Westbrook-led Washington Wizards or a 6-game series with the terrible Toronto Raptors. So Joel Embiid, obviously the injury's kind of scary, but he's played through worse. He played through a torn meniscus. So having extra days off because Atlanta won, I expect him to be there game 1, and I expect him to be pretty dominant, to be honest. And if he isn't, then we might be screwed. But overall, he should be himself, or he should dominate at least on the defensive end or the offensive end or playmaking. He's got to dominate in one of those 3 categories. And then either Tyrese Maxey and Tobias got to step up or James Harden has to step up. And I think James Harden, in the past, he's been really good against Boston. Really good, knock on wood. And the pick and roll is going to be way more open this series than it was last series. Now, the Boston Celtics could switch everything, but Al Horford, he does not want to do that for a whole game. So I think that's going to help Al Harden and Joel Embiid because the pick and roll, once they miss a shot, if they push the pace, you can get a pick and roll because they're not going to be switching like the Brooklyn Nets because Horford's not like that. And Robert Williams is not like Nick Claxton where he can switch out 24/7 all game long. It's just they're not going to do that because Horford would end up on a stretcher by the end of the series.
Yeah, he is at this point in his career. He's very much a. I was going to use the term that you use on 2K when you try to set your defender, when you try to set the center to stay on the screen guy. But yeah, he's very much stay on the screen guy at this point in his career. And yeah, that people underestimate how good the Brooklyn Nets defense is and was. How many switchable defenders they had, and that's that James Harden at this stage of his career, when teams can switch like that, he struggles like hell. The Toronto Raptors series last year. The Miami Heat at times last year. But yeah, I agree with that. So if well, first of all, do you think Joel's injury is, if you had to just guess, like I said, it could be this, it could be that. It could be he's not hurt at all. It was just a little bit of a hyperextension, and they totally blowing it out of proportion to put the ball to keep the Boston Celtics on their heels. What do you think it is? Do you think Doc's up here like actually lying in press conferences just to not tell anyone the truth?
I think he's a little banged up, but I think Joel's always banged up. But I think it's one of his lesser injuries, so I don't think it will affect him that much. I think there'll be a game where he looks terrible, probably because he's just playing bad and his injuries getting in his head. But overall, we just need Joel to have 4 dominant games and get 4 wins and get out of the second round. Like I'm not I I think he'll be fine because he averaged 30 points a game on a torn meniscus against the Hawks. And
Mm-hmm.
we would have been past the second round if Ben Simmons could make free throws and Tobias Harris didn't just disappear. Um I just think we have more depth too. Like De'Anthony Melton's going to have a game.
Uh-huh.
Jalen McDaniels, offensively, he has really good games against Boston. Hopefully, George Niang does not play a single minute unless he's hitting his 3 pointers. Um, but yeah, I think this is our best chance in a long time. That being said, though, I think the Boston Celtics, if they play serious, are probably the best team in the league, but they've shown to be very inconsistent.
Yeah, for sure. Dom Taylor, thank you for a super chat. W lunchtime stream. I feel great about our chances. Thanks for supporting the channel. And yeah, the more the Boston Celtics struggle with the Atlanta Hawks, the better I feel about our chances also. Man, it can't come soon enough. I want the Atlanta to keep extending the series, but I want to watch the Sixers play. I was like, yeah, it goes down on Saturday. Now I'm like, all right, cool, we got some extra rest. This is a good thing, but I have to wait till Monday to watch it happen. Two things before we get up out of here, because I've been wondering this myself. I know last year after the playoffs, Doc Rivers was, air quotes at least, on the hot seat. Nobody, obviously, from ownership or anybody even answered any questions about him. And reporters kind of asked him a couple times throughout the year, and he gets like angry about it, like it's not even a possibility that he'll get fired. But with Joel Embiid not being 100% once again, if they go against Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals and they lose, do you think Joel Embiid's health is still enough of an excuse for the ownership to not fire Doc Rivers? And do you even think they should consider firing Doc Rivers? You know what I mean? Because the way that he coached in March and the way that he coached the first round of the playoffs, I'm sitting here like, if Doc Rivers continues to coach like this is all I wanted. All I wanted was for him to coach exactly like this, make the pretty obvious decisions, play Paul Reed, my God. And that's really all I wanted. So I'm sitting here like, if he continues to coach like this, I don't even know if I'm on like a fire Doc Rivers train anymore. You know what I mean? So what do you think?
Yeah, I think it just depends how the series goes. If he's playing George Niang like 20 minutes, that could be a fire Doc Rivers. If he stops playing Paul Reed, but if Joel comes out and the injury's obviously affecting him and he has a bad series to his standards, then I think Doc Rivers will probably get off the hook, especially if James Harden kind of has a stinker. But overall, I think Doc's been fine, and think I think he's really good as a locker room coach. Besides his relationship with Paul Reed, I think he's handled the locker room really well because it feels like this is the most chemistry we've had, and I would also give credit to PJ Tucker and James Harden and the improved maturity of Joel Embiid as a leader. I think that's ultimately another reason. Also, Tobias Harris, also George Niang's a good locker room guy. So I feel like Doc, unless he starts making incoherent decisions like playing George Niang, all bench lineups, he
Yeah.
wouldn't be fired.
Yeah, I think Doc Rivers handles certain things the wrong way, and that's, as long as there's nothing as long as there's nothing in front of him that he could possibly mishandle, then I think he's fine. He steps into the Sixers with the Ben Simmons situation. Everybody's expecting, hey, we finally have a veteran coach who's going to make this kid shoot the ball and stop playing like this. And Doc comes in day one and says, I don't care if he shoots the ball. And we're all like, what? That's not what was supposed to happen here. And then he argues with the media for a whole season about Ben Simmons, or 2 seasons, whatever. And so, yeah, he handled the Ben Simmons thing completely wrong, I think. And the Paul Reed situation, he was still like, this kid's just too young, had too much of a flyer when you put him on the court. You don't know what you're going to get necessarily. His offensive game is raw, and he just never trusted him enough. And he would get scared in the biggest games, in the biggest moments, to put Paul Reed on the floor instead of just, we're getting smoked at the rim. We need a little bit of a spark here. We need somebody that can grab a rebound. Just put Paul Reed on the floor. So I think he handled the Paul Reed thing wrong the whole time too. But now it seems like there's no Ben Simmons situation for him to mess up. He knows who his point guard is. He knows Tyrese Maxey and Harden, and maybe Shake plays, maybe he doesn't, but mostly he's staggering Tyrese and James Harden as the primary ball handlers. And he's decided, it seems, finally, that Paul Reed is the backup center. So I'm like, all the things Doc was mishandling, it seems like they're finally not here. So he would have to create something else to really get back into that, like, I want this guy completely up out of here thing. If he does, if he does do something in the Celtics series where they're getting owned on the boards or something, and he randomly goes like Niang and Tobias Harris at the 4 and the 5, and the Celtics blow us out, then yeah. So it definitely depends on his decision making in the second round. But if he does what he did against the Nets, I'm not even mad at Doc Rivers anymore. I just need this team to be healthy and we can beat anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think James Harden's a big X factor because I thought he had a good series against Brooklyn. Besides the whole finishing around the rim thing, obviously that's a big thing when you're James Harden. But other than that, he was a great point guard and he was hitting his 3-pointers. So if he could just figure out how to have some touch around the rim, get to the foul line a little more, even though he has a non-existent whistle for whatever reason. But I mean, Marcus Smart, I don't know if you see him, but he looks hurt out there. Al Horford is getting cooked by Trae Young. Obviously, Trae Young is way faster than James Harden. But in the pick and roll, Al Horford looks not like himself, not like he did last year. And James Harden's going to get a lot of opportunities against Al Horford because at times they're going to switch everything. And if James Harden can hit a step back 3 in big moments, I just need Harden hitting at least one big shot a game. I don't even need him to be efficient. I need him to be a point guard, limit turnovers, get other guys shots, and hit big shots. Not even, you can go 3 of 17, but at least give me 1 3-pointer. He did that last week against Brooklyn. I think it was game 3. He was terrible, but he had a clutch step back 3 on Nick Claxton, and it gave the Sixers a 7-point lead. And Joel Embiid was off the floor, so it guaranteed when Joel Embiid came back in the game, the Sixers had the lead. That's what I need from Harden. I don't even need him to be efficient. I just need him to limit those turnovers, be a point guard, and hit your 3-pointers. And also don't just not shoot, because last year against the Heat in the last game, he just did not want to shoot. He didn't want to drive. And although he was inefficient in the Brooklyn Nets series, I love that he just kept driving. He kept failing. He kept shooting threes. Just keep shooting. I don't care if you miss. But what we don't need is another PJ Tucker on the court who doesn't really want to shoot unless he's wide open. That's what I want from Harden.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, you don't need him to be some kind of superstar. You need him to be the facilitator that he is. I completely agree with that. And just, if he could finish a layup, that'd be nice too. You want to keep the defense collapsing. It'll get to the point where the defense isn't even going to collapse if you can't make a layup. That kind of takes his drive and kick game away. I think Tyrese Maxey, and I still don't put any pressure on Tyrese Maxey at 22 years old. I think if he's doing these things that I think he needs to work on at 27, then you would be like, he's just a role player. He's not going to be anything else. But right now, people telling me he's just a role player. He's not going to be anything else. You can't say that. He's 22 years old. But I think the one thing that he still needs to work on is just when he's missing shots in the first quarter, it like affects his confidence throughout the rest of the game. And then he's not like, he doesn't have that killer instinct. He's not trying to go one-on-one. There was a lot of times where he had Seth Curry one-on-one in those Brooklyn games. And I'm like,
yeah.
go, 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 go. And he's backing up, passing the ball back to Harden, who had Claxton on him. I'm like, what are we doing here? Or Cam Johnson on him. I'm like, you got the mismatch. Go, 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 go. But I think he'll get that over time. He doesn't have to have that right now. But, if he just shows that killer instinct throughout the Celtics series that we need him to show, man, yeah, we can take on Boston, man.
He's gonna have a few bad games for sure against Boston because of their length at the rim, but hopefully he has more good games than bad games. That's what we need from every player.
Yeah. All right, last thing, man. If Joel Embiid is not 100% and doesn't look like himself in the second round, and the Sixers lose in the second round, are you on the trade Joel Embiid train?
I don't think so. I was at the beginning of the year if he got hurt again, but I just think he's improving so much as a passer. And probably always going to get injured, but it's like, what else are we going to do? We're going to trade him, and Tyrese Maxey is going to be our number one. That probably makes us a play-in team. And I don't know. I would just pray he's healthy. It's kind of like the Clippers situation. Like, everyone's like, what do the Clippers do? What do the Clippers do? And I'm just sitting here like, pray they're healthy. I mean, they were competing with KD and D Book with Norman Powell and Russell Westbrook. Imagine if they had Kawhi and PG. Like, it's probably never going to happen, but what are you going to trade Paul George for something? You're like, that's going to be a whole nother thing. You're going to have to gain chemistry with the new team. So you're just going to set yourself back, because if you make a big trade, we saw that with James Harden and Joel Embiid, it's probably not going to work right away. So I would probably just keep him at least one more year. And then if he gets injured again, he is at peak value though, which is a huge thing.
Yeah.
But I think Joel's the type of guy where the Sixers aren't going to trade him unless he wants to get traded.
Yeah, if he's not healthy and it's clear.
Yeah.
If he's not healthy and it's clear and we lose in the second round because he's not healthy, then I'm just like, what else? We've tried everything. We've tried everything. He just can't stay healthy. He just can't be healthy in the playoffs. I honestly think, and people might think it's a hot take, I think your best bet, if he's clearly not healthy and it affects the team and they lose, I think your best bet is to see what you could get. I really do, because if you come back next year and it happens again, then what's even on the table for him at that point? Because then teams are looking at it like, he's played 8 years, he's been healthy in the playoffs 1 season out of 8, and that was the 2019 loss to the Toronto Raptors in the second round, Kawhi 4-bounce shot or whatever. But I don't know. I just think I'm getting so tired of watching a whole season, and he's healthy the whole year. He's dropping 56 points on the Detroit Pistons on Monday night. Cool. No, I'm getting to the point where I don't care anymore, because the playoffs are here and he has a sprained LCL. And I hope they're lying to me. I hope they're overblowing it. I really, really, really do. But if they're not, and he's not 100%, he's out there with a knee brace limping around and they lose to the Celtics, I got to move on from Joel Embiid.
It's a fair take. I think I changed my take to your take. I think you just convinced me.
Well, what else can you do?
I mean, praise healthy.
Right. Or just get what you can and move forward. Let Harden trade Embiid, let Harden walk, try to, get some draft. You don't have a first round draft pick until 2029. So if you're falling off a cliff, you kind of want to get some draft picks in there. So
Harden's gone. Like, I think Sixers fans are kind of not seeing the writing on the wall. Like, it's been all year, these Harden rumors coming up. It's probably from James Harden's team. releasing these rumors. And I don't think he cares. Like everyone says, oh, yeah, Philadelphia gives him the best chance to win. I don't think he cares anymore, to be honest. Like he's proven everything. And although he doesn't have a ring, that would help his, legacy. But ultimately, he took a pay cut and he likes money. He's gonna want to get paid. And I don't think the Sixers, based on what he's done thus far in the playoffs, are going to pay him a max contract. Well, the Houston Rockets, where he loves, that's his home, he absolutely loves it there. They're going to give him that contract. They're going to give him the highest paying contract.
Yeah, because
So,
they know
of
even
course
if
he's going
he
to go there.
yeah, they know even if he, is a shell of himself at that point, you're still James Harden is back and you're still selling tickets and jerseys because James Harden is back. You might be right. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't know James, obviously. I've never talked to him, so I don't know what he really thinks. Obviously, he knows how to say the right thing. I care about winning. I'm going to take I'm going to do the contract like this so that we can get PJ Tucker and these other guys and try to go win a championship. I don't know, man. Like it's back and forth with me. I know the lifestyle that it at least appears that he enjoys to live, hanging out with rappers in clubs and things like that. And there's a status there, and you want to stay on top as far as your financial status. And I don't know, he doesn't want to fall off. He doesn't want to take a lesser contract because then he feels like he's not really running the show. Maybe an ego thing. But then the other side of it is like the competitive side of it. It's somebody that's played this game their entire life. They only got this good at the game because of how much they wanted to win every single day. This guy invented basketball moves. That's how dedicated to basketball he was, you know what I mean, from a kid all the way to here. And so it's like, I feel like a player like that really does want to prove something that doesn't have to do with money. So I don't know which one it is.
I think he wants a win, but I don't think it's the end all be all for him. And I also think he believes he can go to Houston and get to the playoffs and maybe do something crazy because they just got Udoka. They can probably swing another star if Harden goes there. Not saying they're going to be on the level of the Sixers, but I just think at this point, Harden has proven that he's one of the best of all time. I mean, he's completely changed his game. And no matter what he does, people always have something to say about it, including myself at times. So I think he's just at a point where he's kind of accepted. Yeah, I'm that guy. I don't care because no matter what you do, the media is always going to say something. And yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to go where the money is because this is probably going to be the last time he has an opportunity to get that type of contract.
That could be true. That could be true. Well, for anyone that just joined, we were talking about a big negative if. If Joel Embiid's not healthy and the Sixers lose and it's clearly because he's not healthy, what do you do? Do you blow up the team or do you try again? But what we're saying, if Joel's healthy, if they're kind of overblowing his injury just to keep the Boston Celtics on their heels or the Atlanta Hawks, whichever one it is, I think with Doc Rivers coaching the way he's coaching right now, and if we're healthy, we have and how the Boston Celtics are playing against the Atlanta Hawks or vice versa, we have a chance against anybody. So I'm beginning to be on board in the full-on belief that this team can win an NBA championship. And I know 4 months ago, people were, here you go again. You're so negative. You don't even know yet. Wait till the playoffs. I'm getting close to, putting myself out there and getting stabbed in the chest again. But yeah, that's how I feel about it, man. You got anything else?
Yeah, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. Let me tell you that.
Probably. All right, Romp, man. Thanks.
The good thing is, last thing I'll say is, I mean, Boston's supposed to win the championship. They're the best team. They got the best roster in the league. So all the pressure should be on them. Sixers should just come in playing free, not playing scared like they usually do in the second round. Let's play basketball, and hopefully Joel is shooting up like LeBron James has been shooting up his whole career, and he comes out and plays like an MVP.
Yeah, get him some of that HGH right in the knee, man. Yep. All right, man. Thanks for coming through. As always.
No problem.
Romp is out. How do
Peace.
I hang up? Yeah. Shout out to my man Romp, man, on the call. Shout out to Romp for coming through. Shout out to everybody for hanging out today. Another edition of Lunchtime Live where we talk about Sixers, we talk about NBA, we talk about, I don't know, anything else, man, while in the middle of the day. Because why not? Shout out to everybody in here, man. Richie MC, DJ Rest That Ankle, Parade on Broad Street this June. I got the brace on right now. That that hurt. I got some seriously supportive ankle braces. Okay, they got the metal in the side, bro. You can't roll your ankle if you wear these. I wasn't wearing it. I don't know why. Because I'm an idiot. Now I'm wearing it after I rolled my ankle, so I don't roll it again. But if I would have just had them on to start, then I wouldn't be in this situation. But it is what it is. I'll be good soon, man. We're so much better once we drop Tobias, which should happen soon. Rubio we'll see what he does in the second. We'll see what he does in the second round, man. It's hard to you can never predict what you're gonna get from Tobias Harris. Pac-Man. I feel like the Philly, New York are in the same universe as teams that don't go deep in the playoffs, but I feel like New York fans are over the top. How do Philly remain chill and not out there like the New York fan base? Oh, it's because the Sixers have been competitive for 5 years. You know what I mean? Yeah, you don't get out of the second round or you don't go deep into the playoffs, but they've been competitive. The New York Knicks have been in the dumpster for a long time. I mean, not even sniffing the playoffs for a long time. 10, 11, 12, 13, 20 years. Ever since Patrick Ewing. That's why. If the Sixers get back to that, if the Sixers tank job would have never worked, Joel Embiid never became a superstar, and the Sixers never became competitive out of the tank, and we're still in the top of the draft every year, still not making the playoff, they would be where the New York Knicks fans were 2 years ago, chanting "sell the team" and harassing the owner inside the stadium and getting banned from the stadium and whatever else they're doing. So the Sixers became competitive. They still haven't gotten over the hump, but they became competitive. That at least keeps the fan base, right here. Enough. You know what I mean? Richard Buchanan, we are not beating the Celtics if Embiid is not 90% healthy or better. I think I agree with that. I'm not really down with the people that are saying things like, if he's 75% and he's on a knee brace and it's not his shooting leg so he can jump, whatever the hell that means, and no, it ain't happening. I know the Celtics are struggling with the Hawks because the Celtics struggle with players like Trae Young in the pick and roll. And the Hawks have a lot of, role players that have been stepping up. But we need Joel Embiid to be healthy. I'm sitting here waiting for it. I'm on Twitter every day, just waiting for someone to tell me Joel Embiid did a running exercise today and planted and cut and looks like himself and he's 100%. But they're not going to say it because they want the other team to be guessing the whole time. So we're not going to get that information until right before Game 1 on Monday night now, or unless Atlanta continues to extend the series. I want to watch the damn Sixers play, but at the same time, I want Atlanta to keep extending the series so Joel can get closer to 100%. It is what it is. Embiid needs to stop throwing himself all over the place. I 100% agree with that. He needs to stop chase down blocking, too. I don't want to see another chase down block for the rest of your career, Joel Embiid. I don't care if you never block another shot. Stay on the ground. Stay on the ground. 2 feet on the ground. Plant, post moves, drop step, turn around, fade away, and that's it. I don't want you driving down the lane trying to dunk on anybody. I don't want you chasing people down trying to jump and block layups. I'm over it. Keep 2 feet on the floor. I'm getting sick of this shit. Especially when his teammates won't get the damn ball if he blocks it. Whenever you roll your ankle, never wear a brace. Just don't play b-ball for a while the brace weakens it. Whenever you roll your ankle, never wear a brace. Just don't play b-ball for a while. The brace weakens it. I think you're right about the brace weakening your ankle. But you're saying I should never wear an ankle brace while playing basketball? Is that what you're saying right now? because I've sprained my left ankle severely, probably 4 or 5 times in my life. It is shredded. It's cooked. There's no strength in my left ankle at all. My right ankle I haven't sprained that many times, but this one's probably 2 or 3 severe ones, like torn ligaments, swelling, the whole 9. My ankles are so weak. There's nothing. I can't even jump. So I wear braces because of that. And that's because I've been playing basketball since I was 10 years old, and I'm 36, and I've sprained a lot of ankles, but it is what it is. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Thank you for everyone for coming through. I appreciate you for hanging out. This has been Lunchtime Live. Run It Back Philly. Shout out to Romp. Shout out to everybody. Hit the like button. I'll talk to you soon.